Operation Broken Fang has been out for over a month now, and let's be honest, most of the hype is around the AWP Fade. And you can get that pretty much 3 ways. You can get it from an Operation Reward, you can trade up for it, or you can just buy it directly. So that's exactly what we're going to look at. Today we're going to go in depth of how to get an AWP Fade. But before we do that, I want to go over a few things. First of all, only 5% of you are subscribed. So if you enjoyed the video, please smash that subscribe button. I don't want to see it on the YouTube page anymore. It should be somewhere in space or on the moon or somewhere. And while you're down there, also, the like button is just a few pixels away. So just move your mouse a little bit and you might as well hit it. And the other thing is, if you're looking for a site to do trade-ups with or calculate your chances for trade-ups, then definitely check out TradeUpSpy. I'll leave a link in the description. And if you use my link and buy premium subscription, then you'll get an extra 2 days for every 30 days purchased. So again, that's TradeUpSpy for calculating trade-ups and percentages. Check it out in the description down below. So you completed some of the operation missions, you got yourself your few stars, and you decided to open the control collection because that has the AWP Fade. That's the natural choice. And all you got was grays. So what are the chances to get an AWP Fade? So you go on the internet, you search for it, and you find this Reddit post which says it's 1 in 3,906. Oddly specific. So let's take a look at how he arrived at that number. When CSGO launched in China, there was some kind of law or something similar that forced Valve to make the odds of getting skins in cases public, and they pretty much told us that each tier is 5 times as likely to be opened as the tier above it. We can start from there. So let's suppose you get 1 covert skin, and for each of those coverts, you're gonna have 5 classifieds, and 5 times 5 means 25 restricteds. 25 times 5 is 125 mil specs. 125 times 5 is 625 industrial grades, and 625 times 5 is 3,125 consumer grades. And if you sum up all those numbers, you get 3,906, and you have a 1 in 3,906 chance to get a covert. So over the operation, you can get 100 stars, which means 25 chances at a collection. And let's assume that you use all of your 25 chances. So to fail every single one and don't get a covert, you have a 3,905 divided by 3,906 chance to get it, which is 0.9997. If we raise this to the 25th power, which is basically multiplying the number by itself 25 times, we get 0.0093. If I subtract this number from 1, then we'll get the chance to get an AWP Fade or any covert from the 3 collections. And that's going to be 0.006, which is 0.64%. That's just like getting a covert skin from 1 case. So to put that into perspective, let's open a case. So the case I'm opening today is going to be a clutch case, and what we're looking for is to get a covert skin, which has about a 0.6% chance of happening. If I hit the covert skin, that means that we got exactly as lucky as I would get if I would open 1 red from 25 collection openings. So let's see what we get. And it is a blue. MP9 Sit Black Sand. Who would have guessed? So 1 in 3,906. That doesn't sound like such small odds. So let's go to random.org and see if we can hit it. So I've entered in minimum 1, maximum 3906. Let's just generate a couple. That's not it. That's not 1. That's not 1 again. That's not 1. That's not 1. That's not 1. So you get the point. It's very rare. So I think my point is pretty clear. If you want the AWP Fade, then the way to get it is not through opening the collections. So if you buy stars to open collections, that's pretty much a waste of money. Now, I am assuming that you only get the AWP Fade or nothing. So you might get lucky and get like a purple or maybe even a pink if you're really lucky. But realistically speaking, the red is not going to land in your hands. Now, if you're looking to gamble, sure, do it. But it's not a reliable way to get the AWP Fade. And you could come to me with the fact that Sparkle's got 2 within 2,000 stars, but he just got really lucky. So the number of expected AWP Fades you would get in 500 openings of the control collection is 0.128. So you would get pretty much like a 1/8 chance to get the AWP Fade if you opened 500. But he got 2. I think I talked enough about opening collections. Let's move on to the trade-ups. Now, before anyone gets disappointed, I will not do any trade-ups because it's way too expensive and it's way out of my price range. It's like at least $200 for one of these things for one trade-up, and that only has a 10% chance at best. So I'm definitely not going to be doing one of these. As fillers, I'm going to be using the Minimal Wear Fuchsia Is Now CZ skins, because those only have one output in the covert area, and that's gonna bring us the most chance to get the AWP Fade. So what I did is I went up to Trade Up Spy, link in the description, and I looked for all the trade ups ranging from 10% to 100% and plotted all of the percentages of profit on a spreadsheet. So I did all 10 possible trade-up combinations, and I plotted the number of control skins against the profitability that Trade-Up Spy spit out for me. And I used the Fuchsia Is Nows for 18 euros and 20 cents, and I got the target acquired USPSs in Minimal Wear for 136 euros. And by the way, I'm going to be using Steam prices for every skin here, just to make it consistent. You could use it from third-party sites, and the profits are going to be probably around the same. So looking at the plot, it's kind of surprising. I thought it was going to be a peak, and then it's going to trail off in both directions. But it's actually climbing consistently, not fast, but consistently, and it never actually hits 100%. So this tells us that doing these trade-ups, spamming these trade-ups is a terrible idea. So whatever you do, do not spam these trade-ups. So the worst one to possibly do is the 10% trade-up, which costs 300 euros, and the profitability is only 40%. So if you spam this, you'll only get back your 40% of your money. So this is terrible. So unless you have 300 euros in extra that you don't care about losing, and you want a massive amount of thrill, you really shouldn't be doing the 10% trade-ups. And moving on, the price just climbs as the chances also climb. So you can think about it as pretty much paying for higher chances to get the AWP Fade. And with each extra control skin you put in, you do increase your chances to get the AWP Fade, but you also have a chance to lose even more money than you did with using less control skins. And even though with 9 and 10 control skins, the profitability is technically the highest, they don't actually yield you any profit, even if you get the AWP Fade. With 10 control skins, that's a definite loss, and with 9 control skins, it's a profit only before Steam tax, and it's a really, really thin profit margin. So I would definitely not recommend using the 9 and 10 control skin version of this trade-up, because that's just a recipe for losing money. So the most reasonable trade-ups here are probably going to be with 7 or 8 control skins, because those still have a really high % chance of getting the AWP Fade, over 2/3 in fact, and they have the highest profitability that actually get you profit. Now, there is the 20 or 30% chance to lose absolutely everything, which is over 1,000 euros. It's a very, very, very risky trade-up, even though most of the time you'll get the AWP Fade, but if you don't, you're really screwed. So overall, trade-ups is a much, much, much better way to get the AWP Fade for cheaper, but it's really risky. If you absolutely cannot afford to lose the 1,000 euros that you wanted to invest in an AWP Fade, then please do not do trade-ups. But it can be a good way, if you're a bit lucky, it can be a good way to get an AWP Fade for like 500-600 euros. But again, you have to be really lucky. So if you do try one of these trade-ups and it doesn't work out, please don't come crying here, because when you're doing multiple €100 trade-ups, you should know what you're getting into. So that's it for trade-ups. Again, I don't really recommend trade-ups, but let's move on to the third and best option, which is kind of lame. The best option is to buy it directly. Now, the worst way to buy it is to add funds to your Steam wallet and just buy it off the market. The second worst is to add funds to your Steam wallet and buy it as a buy order, because buy order prices are always cheaper, and who knows, you might get lucky with someone undervaluing their skin. And a little bit better way to get it is to go on a site like Skinport or Skin Baron. I'm not affiliated with these, I just recommend those because I've heard good things about them, and just buy it directly. It costs about $1,200 or 1,000 euros on those sites. so it's cheaper than on the community market. And you can also choose your float and choose your pattern index, which is also very important. I don't trade with these sorts of items, so I don't really know about the fade percentages, but according to Zippel, the best fade pattern is pattern number 412, which is like 99.8 or 100% fade. When the control collection is going to be discontinued, people are going to overpay for these patterns, so it might be worth investing in, but I'm not the best person to give that advice to you. And the main reason I think this is the best way to get it is because it's absolutely risk-free if you use a reputable site. So there is no 20% chance of losing your 1,000 euros. You know what you get, but it costs more. These were the 3 ways to get the AWP Fade. Please let me know if you try to get the AWP Fade, how it goes, or which method you choose. I'd be really interested in hearing that. So anyways, this was the video. I hope you enjoyed. Please tell me what you thought about it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.